I'm sure by now you guys have seen this video by Aztecross or you've seen this tweet from Glad, and this has sparked a big discussion in the community about, do we want a Destiny 3? Do we want to stay in Destiny 2? Do we want Destiny 2 to drop the 2 and just become Destiny? And I'm on board with either, but I think there's a lot of things that people aren't thinking about whenever they ask for a Destiny 3 or they want to stay in Destiny 2 and just drop the 2. For one, the big issue with naming it just Destiny is there's already a game called Destiny that released forever ago. And if we just made Destiny 2 Destiny, it'd be very difficult for people, new people, to differentiate between what is Destiny and what is Destiny, aka Destiny 2. The second biggest problem with Destiny 2 just becoming Destiny is the fact that Destiny 2 is very old. They would have to do a complete overhaul to this game for it to be able to sustain the new life expectancy we have for the game, because the game is already struggling. We saw with Lightfall we had tons of crashes and error codes and just the game not working for significant periods of time, to even more recently with the release of the Final Shape we had server instability when the Final Shape released, and even after the release we had difficulties with players loading into activities. You couldn't see enemies. You're playing Crucible, fighting invisible teams. Your teammates are invisible. All kinds of problems like that, desync, lag, and it just constantly gets worse. So can Destiny 2, where it's currently at, handle any more content added to it without something like the DCV? And it really seems more and more like we really need the DCV, or we need to drop last gen consoles, which I'm all for. Because if you're playing on a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and you're still on those, even though we're about to go to probably the next gen of consoles here within the next 2-3 years, it's kind of time to move on and get the next console. Not to mention, we have that 12-man activity excision, which is incredibly laggy whenever you're playing with 12 people. The game almost doesn't know what to do when there are 12 people and tons of enemies spawning at the same time. And also, if we stay with Destiny 2 with no sunsetting, we will constantly keep our gear, which isn't necessarily a problem, but that could become difficult for Bungie to keep up the pace, because they are known for reusing assets, and after a couple years of no sunset content, we've gotten tons of sunset gear back, and everyone just complains that they're reskins, or just plain old weapons returning to the game. Which would mean that Bungie would have to make tons of new assets, tons of new stuff, no reskins. They would have to constantly be giving us new modeled weapons, and after a certain point, that kind of becomes impossible to keep up the cadence of a seasonal model, which I know we're on the episode model, but it's still the seasonal model. Now let's talk about Destiny 3. Aztecross even mentions in his own video that he doesn't want a Destiny 3 unless he can take his loot with him. And I think that's the biggest problem. If we got Destiny 3 next year instead of Frontiers, it would literally be the same exact game we're currently playing, with, I imagine, no graphical updates, because we just had that update back in Beyond Light. There's not going to be any crazy new weapons in terms of weapon models. We might have some new exotics, but in the time that we waited for that yearly expansion, that would be probably the same amount of exotic we would have gotten with a yearly expansion. So Destiny 3 would launch with a bunch of weapons that are similar to the current models we have in-game, brand new exotics, but it would only be a handful of them, probably a handful of returning exotics, and then we would also have to explain in lore why our Guardian, who has slain Oryx and the Witness, doesn't have any of their weapons that they have crafted, any of the exotics they've obtained over the past 10 years. And I feel like the only way that you could really explain that away is if we were no longer our Guardian. If our Guardian became lore, basically, a legend, maybe even an NPC character, where Destiny 3 took our assets from Destiny 2 and was like, okay, this is their most played character, that will be the character that they see when loading in this area, that is the Guardian, which I feel like they would have to finally give a name to. And then there's the question of content. Do we expect Bungie to bring over all the content that they've already made? So do we expect them to bring all the raids and dungeons from Destiny 2 over? They haven't even finished getting all the raids from Destiny 1, and I feel like they just hate that raid so much that we'll probably never see it again at this point. But Do we expect them to take basically all the Destiny 1 and 2 raids and put them into Destiny 3? And then on top of that, the dungeons. And I feel like you have to have some version of the story content from Destiny 2 in this game, or else you're not going to understand where we're going. So if Destiny 3 came out after Frontiers, Destiny 3 would need to have the episodes that led to the story that calls Frontiers and Frontiers, and then however we got to the point of Destiny 3. It would need to have all that, at least in a cutscene or something there, kind of like how they have the timeline in Destiny 2, but, done properly, because the timeline in Destiny 2 is horrendous to go through. And I honestly think if they do that with the timeline, that should be the new light story. Complete the previous story missions so you can get caught up on where we're at in the game, and then along the way, teach you how to play the game. All they have to do is add a little bit in each mission to teach you new things, and you're set. So essentially, we either want Destiny 2 to continue and we wait for this big update that may never come, or the game just struggles for the next however many years until they decide that it can't hold anymore and we have to get a Destiny 3 inevitably, or we just go ahead and go to Destiny 3, we don't take our weapons, we don't take our raids, we get all these new weapons, and after a week of playing, we're bored because there's no content. The final shape was fun, and I'm pretty much done with it, because class items are not fun to farm. There's no reason for me to want to do that. I don't think Ergo Sum is good enough for me to bother trying to get a good one of, because I already have the perfect one, so I feel like I don't need the other ones because I'm not worried about Bungie actually buffing the other ones or nerfing mine. Crucible is in shambles, Gambit's never fun, and the Nightfall playlist is never updated. We currently have the seasonal story going on, and new story comes out today when this video is releasing, but that's not enough to get me back right now. I'm kind of tired of playing Destiny, and that has nothing to do with the fact that it's Destiny 2 and I want Destiny 3 and I want to restart and not have my loot. It just comes with the fact that I've been playing Destiny 2 since Beyond Light released and I haven't played another game. So I'm taking my time, taking a break away from the game. I'm enjoying taking my time away from Destiny. And when the next season launches, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grind out that seasonal story day one, get as many weapons crafted, and then I'm going to log off for as long as possible so I can enjoy other games. And honestly, that's why I enjoy the episodic cadence of Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3 is whenever the act gets slow, I can take a break and do other things. Because while I love Destiny and I want to continue playing it for the foreseeable future, I don't foresee myself playing it as the only game I'm going to play. And I think that's kind of why I got burnt out so much right there with Into the Light, and even previously with Season of the Deep before I even started creating content. I spent way too much time on the game, way too much time playing the game, and not enough time enjoying the game. And if I can just grind it out and have my fun and then go have a fun with a different game, or go enjoy doing something else other than playing games, that sounds like a win to me. So I don't think the solution is Destiny 3. I think it's fine to have Destiny 2 and then the final shape release and you get tired of it. Games get repetitive. We've been playing the same game for forever, and it's going to be really difficult for Bungie to change this game or even make a Destiny 3 that would be enough of a change to get us back to wanting to play it every single day all the time. There would have to be a tremendous amount of content while simultaneously be rewarding and grindy, which it seems like it's really difficult for Bungie to really hit that balance. I'll say this again for the people that missed it. I love Destiny 2. I'm okay if we get a Destiny 3. I'm not going to love that idea. I want Destiny 2 to take a break. I want Bungie to take a break from updating the game. Just give us those seasonal contents. Let's miss one yearly content drop. And just give us a big update. Overhaul the game. Drop last gen. Make this game perform fantastic. That's what I want to see. That's what I've been asking for before Lightfall. That's what I was begging for after Lightfall. And I'm here asking for it again after the final shape. And I was begging for it with Lightfall because it was atrocious. Right now with the final shape, it's not that bad. But I feel like we're going to get to a point to where it's going to be unplayable. And I don't want to get to that point. So let's go ahead, take that break, Give us that big update. And hey, maybe Frontiers has some of that. Maybe Bungie's been working on that since Lightfall. Maybe they've been working on it since before that. This big update that's going to fix the game in every way possible. Maybe that's already a thing. I don't know. I wish I did. I'm looking forward to what this episode brings in terms of story content. I'm looking forward to the next episode and the episode after that, and I'm glad that I get to take breaks. I think Destiny's in a fine place. I know people are worried about the Steam charts and the metrics. I think we're fine. I think this is the best Destiny's been in a while. And with that being said, that's it for me. I love Destiny 2. I love the idea of this being the Destiny game. Just update it. Basically, kill off Destiny 1. Destiny 2 has everything Destiny 1 has and more. I would love that. Bring back everything from the beginning of Destiny 2. Make Destiny 2 like a full game and just call it Destiny. I would love to see that happen. But anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button. Comment down below what you think about Destiny 2 just becoming Destiny, or would you like to see a Destiny 3? Why not? And then be sure to subscribe for more content, because I do weapon reviews and build videos as often as I can, because this is not my full-time job, but I try really hard to push out as much content as humanly possible. And we are this close to 500 subs, and we're pushing for 1,000 at the end of the year. I've already hit my watch hours goal to become partnered on YouTube. I just haven't hit the subs. So there's tons of you guys that watch that don't sub in these videos. So if you could sub, I would greatly appreciate it, because that puts us that much closer to actually being able to do this full time and making content for you guys. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video, whatever it may be.